I want to give you brothers and sisters another perspective when it comes to racism and white supremacy. I want to give you guys the perspective from the global perspective. Um, a lot of times people forget that racism isn't doesn't only exist in America; it exists all throughout the world. It exists in India. It exists in Brazil, and I'm going to focus on Brazil right now. And I'm gonna make this into a series. I'm gonna highlight the injustices taking place in the most prevalent areas across the world. Um, I'm posting a link in the description to the article that was written maybe 1 or 2 months ago. I finally found it. I was looking for it. I first read it um, a little bit before the Olympics began in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. And basically, it's talking about the racism in Brazil. If you haven't, if you didn't know this before, more slaves went to Latin America than America. Much more. In particular and specifically Brazil, more slaves went to Brazil than anywhere else in the world. Now, though poverty affects many different groups of people in Brazil, it is extremely pervasive in the black community. You know, Afro Brazilians. Many Afro Brazilians live in the favelas, or you could also, another way of saying that is, the barrios of Brazil. You have this beautiful city in Rio de Janeiro, and the buildings and skyscrapers and infrastructure, and you're like, wow, this is a paradise. Until you look a little bit off into the hills, the mountains, and you see these shanty towns as far as I can see. You know, a lot of people have spoken on the pollution and not having water and just how a lot of people made a big deal about the green pool in the Olympics, and that was a big deal. But imagine this: imagine not even having water and living in those favelas, not having any protection, being targeted by the police. Now, in Brazil, blacks are 4 times more likely to be killed by the police. 4 times more likely. Now, um, I forgot the ratio, the number, but Brazil is a lot smaller than the United States. But the number of black Brazilians killed in Brazil is much higher than even here. And one case in particular, in another article I was reading, uh, the police did a raid in some favela, and they thought that a black teenager was a drug dealer, which he wasn't. It wasn't at all. He was then gunned down by the police because they have a shoot first, ask questions later mindset, very similar to the Philippines. The only difference being is that it's mostly targeting black people, black youth, rather than all drug dealers in particular. Now, according to witnesses, one of the police officers tried to put a gun on him, on the dead uh, black youth's body, but the bystanders wouldn't allow them to do that. So I encourage you guys to do some research, man. There's a great series out there by, I believe it's Henry Louis Gates, and he's done Black in Peru and Black in Latin America, Black in Mexico, Black in Brazil, and we really need to learn up and educate ourselves about what we are facing as a people throughout the world. Not only in Africa and the United States, but also in Latin America. There's Afro Mexicanos, in Veracruz, Mexico, and Costa Chica de Guerrero. There's blacks all over Latin America. Not as many in Argentina and Chile, but there's blacks all over. And many times those blacks are treated um, much worse. It's not even close. Like America, there's a different justice system for blacks. So I'm gonna post the article in the description, and I encourage you guys uh, to just learn up on that. Check out the Henry Louis Gates series, and speak out about this, man. Share this. because, you know, I'm not afraid to speak my mind. I speak my mind wherever I go, and I don't let anybody silence me, you know. And I'm constantly posting articles and making statements on Facebook and social media talking about the atrocities that blacks are facing, not only in the United States but throughout the world. And I encourage you guys to do that too. Don't be afraid to uh, to speak your mind and speak the truth. Don't let these devils silence you, man. Yeah, check out the article and just stay learned up, man. I'm out.